Welcome to Rising Parent, your go-to podcast for conquering the academic battlefield. I'm your host, Ashley, and I'm here to help you navigate the challenges of school life. But first, please subscribe to our podcast. It helps us to provide valuable content that will support you on your parenting journey. In this episode, Tim and Edna will be diving deep into the world of focus, motivation, and academic success. They'll explore practical strategies to help your child excel in school, from creating a supportive home environment to seeking professional help. So, grab your favorite beverage and get ready to unlock your child's full potential.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into something many parents are thinking about, especially with school back in session. How to help their kids, really focus. And we've got some great stuff to dig into today, like this video from Live on Purpose TV, and then there's this article from Nemours Kids Health. Should be interesting.
Yeah, it's always so interesting to see the different ways people approach this, right? You get some really insightful perspectives.
For sure. And one thing from the video that kind of jumped out at me right away was this idea of ability to focus versus actual motivation to focus. And they even touched on ADD and ADHD, so it gets kind of complicated.
Oh, absolutely. And the article, it kind of echoes that, that it's not always so simple. Like a kid might be struggling, but it could be a whole bunch of things, right? Like maybe it's how they learn best or how they organize information, or even like some health things we might not even realize are playing a role.
It's getting the whole picture instead of just being like, oh, that kid just can't sit still.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of the whole picture, I thought this control and maturity model thing from the video was really interesting. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah. It's fascinating. It basically suggests that as kids get older, they naturally gain more control, over their impulses and stuff. And that in turn lets them focus better. They break it down into these stages. So first, it's all about them. Then they learn to cooperate. And eventually, they become more responsible.
So, a teenager should theoretically be way better at managing their own focus than a toddler, right?
Exactly. The more mature they are, the better they are at dealing with distractions and all that.
Which reminds me of this thing, the video called Grandma's Rule, and I thought it was brilliant.
Oh, yeah, the classic work before play. Simple, but,
But so powerful.
Yeah.
If that was just a given in a household, think about how much that could shape a kid's whole approach to, anything, not just homework.
Right. It's about building those good habits from the get-go. It's less about forcing focus and more about them just, understanding that you put in the effort, then you get the reward. And the Nemours article, it kind of touches on that too. It really emphasizes structure.
So, consistent bedtime, designated homework time, even planning out downtime. That all helps with focus.
Totally. When kids have that predictable kind of framework, it helps them manage their time and energy so much better, which of course, helps them focus when they need to.
It's like you're setting them up for success, right?
The
Instead of just kind of throwing them into the deep end.
Exactly. And that actually, it kind of ties into something else from the video that I thought was really smart, this idea of situational planning. They compared it to baby proofing, but for school.
Okay, I got to admit, when I first heard that, I was a little So break that down for me. What does that actually look like in real life?
So it's kind of instead of just hoping kids can adapt to any environment, we can actually do things to make that environment work for them, to support their focus.
Okay, so let's say my kid is super distracted in class. Are we talking about actually talking to the teacher about where they sit in the classroom?
Exactly. Maybe they need to be closer to the front, or maybe they do better surrounded by quieter kids. It's about figuring out what that individual child needs and then actually doing something about it.
That makes so much sense. And this probably applies to the homework situation at home too.
Totally. The article was big on having a designated homework spot.
Sure.
And it's one thing to have a desk, but is it in a quiet corner? Or is it the kitchen table with a million other things going on around them?
It's that consistency again, right?
Yeah.
But okay, what about when you've tried all this stuff and you're still banging your head against the wall and your kid's still struggling? What do we do then?
That's where, talking to people comes in. Both the video and the article, they really emphasize communication. Talk to your kid, find out what's going on for them, and then definitely talk to their teacher.
I mean, the teacher sees them every day, right? They probably have insights that we as parents just don't.
Exactly. Maybe there's something specific happening in class that's making it harder for your child to focus. Or maybe the teacher has noticed a pattern with your kid's behavior that you haven't picked up on at home.
It's all about getting everyone on the same page, right? Okay, but what if you're still not getting anywhere? Is there a point where you need to look beyond just the school environment?
For sure. If you've tried making adjustments at home, at school, and you're still concerned, that's when you want to loop in your child's doctor.
Yeah, because sometimes I think it's easy to forget that there might be other things going on that we're just not aware of.
Exactly. And the article mentioned this too, like vision problems. Sometimes kids have trouble seeing and we don't even realize it, and that can obviously make it really hard to focus.
Oh, for sure. And the good news is, once you know about it, that's usually a pretty easy fix.
Exactly. And then, if there are concerns about things like ADHD or learning disabilities, the doctor can help with getting those diagnosed and, figuring out the best way to handle it.
Yeah, and like you were saying, once you have that diagnosis, it's not like you're left on your own right.
Yeah.
There are things to help those kids get what they need.
Absolutely. I mean, a diagnosis can actually open up a lot of doors, like at school, for example. The article talked about 504 plans and IEPs. These are basically plans that schools can put in place to give kids some extra support, tailored to their specific needs.
Which can make a world of difference. So we've covered a lot of ground today, from like what focus actually is to how to help kids, even like when to call in the professionals. For you, what's the biggest takeaway here for parents?
At the end of the day, it's really about remembering that there's no one-size-fits-all approach. Every kid is different. What works for one might not work for another. So it's about paying attention, being willing to adjust things, and just like meeting your child where they are. And sometimes that means asking for help, which is a good thing, not a bad thing.
So important to remember that. It's not about forcing focus. It's about like helping it grow and develop, understanding our kids, giving them the support they need, being there for them. Well, this has been awesome. Seriously, I feel like I learned so much today, and I feel way more prepared to help my own kids with this stuff.
Me too. It's amazing what a little information can do, right?
Totally. And to everyone listening, we want to hear from you. Did something click for you today? Maybe you're thinking about grandma's rule in a whole new way, or maybe you have a totally different question now. Whatever it is, keep the conversation going. Keep learning, keep exploring, because that's how we all grow, right?
And that's a wrap. We hope this episode has equipped you with the knowledge and tools to help your child succeed in school. Remember, with the right support and strategies, your child can achieve great things. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more expert advice on parenting and child development. We'll be back soon with more helpful episodes to guide you on your parenting journey. Until next time, happy learning.